got plenty of people coming in collecting with our new agreement. I've got one train of type 1 train of ballast, and one train split 50-50 sand and gravel. I've also got a health and safety inspection. I'm Daniel and this is Ashville Weekly, episode 68. This episode of Ashville Weekly is sponsored by PAL. Didn't sleep well at all. Trying to put up the poles. The power comes round the back. The pressure isn't enough. What do you call it when you've got an old horse? We got to get a minimum of 20 loads out today. That sounds a bit more like a thumbs up than a thumbs in the middle to me. Don't be so ridiculous. And I love seeing a lorry behind me like that. Of course. I don't mind, you can put it in. That was actually a massive difference.
Hello darkness, my old friend.
Monday morning, I'm in the yard. As you know, there are a number of changes happening in the business, and one of those changes is that I'm looking at everything on a spreadsheet, and I'm becoming a numbers man. Instead of somebody who just says, we need this, we need that, I bought it for £1, I'm gonna sell it for £2. I'm becoming a numbers man who uses cash flows, trying to find ways to save money. Now, I was thinking last night, as you do when you're lying in bed trying to sleep and you've got anxiety about waking up on Monday morning, how can we cut costs? How can we try to bring the price down? How can we be competitive? And it came to me, these bulk bags. Now for me, these bulk bags are great. And everything for me is about branding. Now these are black bulk bags and they've got the yellow hooks here. You can use the forklift, you can use the hook on the crane lorry to put them down. But I thought to myself, how am I gonna be competitive when I'm buying bags which are double the price of everyone else just to get the branding out there? So I've decided one of the ways we're gonna cut costs is we're gonna go for a standard white bag and we're gonna do all the Ashville text in black. That is probably gonna save us 50% on the bags. Over the process of the year, 50% is a lot of money. That's one of the ways I'm saving. The way we're gonna fill these bags is with my new bagging area over there. And Will was lucky enough to pop over to Southern Vulcanizing this morning. Let's see how they get on. On Saturday, my new signs were delivered, which I was very happy about, so I could label all of the bays. Now, initially, they were meant to be right above my head, but you can see they are not, because again, last night, while I was rolling around with anxiety, thinking about this morning, thinking about that alarm clock, I decided to move them. The reason for this is when you pull into the yard over by the railway crossing, I want you to be able to look down this way and I want you to be able to see all the labels so it's nice and clear. Plus, if these bays are really full and the material is piled sky high, you're not going to be able to see the labels. To be honest, I don't think it's something smart. I just thought I should have done that in the first place. But you know, hindsight is a wonderful thing. Also, in these bays, today the guys have started running pipe work because I want to have a sprinkler on top of each bay. So the back of this is filled with steels. So I'm gonna weld a scaffold pole to each of the steels in the middle, and I'm gonna have a sprinkler that probably sits about 2 meters above each bay going. Daniel, say it, don't spray it. I know the editors are going to do something mad there, and as you can see by last week's intro, yes, the editors do me dirty. And when I try to share with you my thoughts and I feel it's heartwarming, they mock me further and put the sad music underneath it. But what can you do? We have to mix the humor, because if you don't laugh, you will cry. A little bit more about the sprinklers. We don't have the water pressure in here for us to be blasting all of them at the same time. So the easiest way to do it would be to run one pipe to each of them and then just cap off and put one above each, but that's not gonna work because one bay could have a material that we don't wanna soak and another one could have one we do. So what we're gonna have to do, we're gonna have to put some sort of control panel over here. When I say control panel, I mean a piece of MDF with a bunch of valves attached to it, and we're gonna have to run an individual hose to each and every bay. And then we're gonna have to label the bays here. So let's label them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 bays, and we're gonna control them all from here. So you could turn on bay 1, then turn it off. Bay 2 is the relief bay in the middle here, or you could turn on this bay, because if I turn them all on at the same time, we won't have the pressure. And I'm also gonna have to get myself a little water tank. So I'm gonna have to put a water tank here and a pump, because again, the pressure isn't enough. No, it won't be a water tower like the one we have over here. It will be a water tank. Also, the 8-yard crane skip, that is no longer a crane skip. We started it last week. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try and finish that today. By the end of today, that should be done. And then the parts we ordered for the sweeper, they have arrived, and then we're gonna start working on the sweeper. Let's get on with that skip. As you can see in my life, things get damaged a lot. Sometimes I repair them, sometimes I have to buy new. As you can see from last week's episode, I need to buy a new drone. But I thought to myself, wouldn't it be nice to find a deal and not get stung and save a little bit of money? Let me introduce you to Pouch. Pouch is a free desktop browser extension that automatically finds and applies the best discount codes when you're shopping online. Okay, so first, find the drone I want. The DJI Mavic Air 2, £939. Add to basket, go to checkout. Now here's where the Pouch magic happens. Hit try codes, Pouch is trying codes. Boy, £101 and 96p. Now that is a serious saving. Do you know what? I'm gonna go again. I need a new vlogging camera that doesn't have a mind of its own and go all over the place in the middle of my filming. First, find the camera I want. Do you know what? I actually need a decent grip as well. Add to basket. Nice. 868 squids. Click checkout. Try codes. Pouch automatically pops up again. I wonder if Pouch was designed by a garage MC. Inside. What a rinsing sound. Boom, a 10% saving of £90. Nice. Pouch works on over 3,000 UK sites, including Dell, John Lewis, and Jessop's. And they've just launched Pouch Points, which means even if there are no live codes at the time that you're shopping online, you can generate points through participating retailers, which can be redeemed as gift cards. Pouch only takes a couple of clicks to install, and make sure you pin it in your browser. So get Pouch right now by clicking on the link in the description. Last week when I was sat in the car talking in the morning, you know when you see me in the dark in the car in the morning at 5 a.m, it reminds you of that song.
Hello darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk to you again.
And many of you believed by what I was saying, when we don't have the money coming in, how can we pay people? That when we didn't get paid by our clients, that we weren't paying our staff. No, I was talking about suppliers. It is not the staff's problem what financial issues we have, if we have any, so don't be so ridiculous. Or maybe I didn't explain it properly. There's a couple of things which have to get paid no matter what, and that's the staff, the diesel, and the staff, and the diesel. You've seen this tipper before. This is the very first tipper I ever had. AXZ 9813. I've still got her. I didn't sell her at auction, but click here to see a video where we do sell some of our old lorries at auction. Moving this morning in the yard, moving into this bay so it wasn't in the way, because this isn't a lorry that goes out every day. This is like a backup in case we're having lorries MOT'd. No, it's that the hydraulic tank is leaking. she's rotten. So I called up my mate Gareth at Jack the Scrap, and he has one for us, a second-hand one that I need to go and grab. Let's have a look at it here. I'm gonna go up and get that, and then straight away we're gonna drain down all the hydraulic fluid in here, try and wash it out, then try and fit it on, then refill it, make sure we get rid of any air that's in the system, and hopefully she'll be good to go again. But she doesn't do a lot of work at the moment. We've, what do you call it when you've got an old horse? We've put it out to pasture. I think that's the saying. Some people saw us paint the training room last week and said,
Oh yeah, you're painting it in black. It's going to be a sweatbox in the summer.
just like all the offices here already, like mine, like the editor's office, like the construction office, of course, there will be air conditioning for heating and cooling. So don't worry, it will not be a sweatbox, and it most definitely will not be cold in the winter either. Tuesday morning, I'm in the yard. I've spent the morning on emails, catching up with paperwork. I've been walking around in the yard, looking at a few bits. Now in the yard, we continue the work with the new sprinklers, and hopefully sooner or later we can put together my makeshift manifold. Now I'm about to jump on a Zoom call with Con. Now, if you remember Con, I did a podcast with him a very long time ago. For those of you who don't know, you're with your boy Daniel from Ashville and Con from the Sidemen. Con's just bought his first house, and I am a new YouTuber. Any questions you may have, please ask us. Con does a lot of filming with the Sidemen, and he's doing a little bit of work in some of their offices. So I'm going to have a look at a couple of the pictures and see if I can't add some value to the process. Well, that was fun. It didn't quite go according to plan for Con, but it did for me, because I got to tell him loads of ideas and add loads of value and give them something to think about. So what started out as just a bit of advice could well be a very interesting project. Now I'm going to jump back on some Zoom calls, try and have some lunch, and the guys in the yard are continuing with trying to put up the poles on the back of the bays and then try to connect some sprinklers as well, so we can ensure that we keep the material nice and damp so everyone in the local area is happy and healthy. It's Wednesday and I'm in the yard. I've done something to my neck. Oh, it's killing me. Didn't sleep well at all. But what can you do? Walking over to the bagging area. You know I love a sign, and a new sign has arrived. Let's have a look at it. Oh! That is going there. I would go here. I would start it here. Yeah, near the top, yeah, because the conveyor belt's gonna go upwards and it's gonna block it. So I would put it here. From here, at the top, leave a little gap, yeah? We need to finish the first conveyor belt. Let's have a little look at the work that's going on with that conveyor. We need to put the conveyor in place, then measure up for the second one, because Southern Vulcanizing a little bit worried that if they make both of them at the same time, then there could be a little bit of a problem. So the first one, the flat one, should be finished in a little while. We'll put it in place here and then we'll measure up for the second one. I wanted to put a sign up in this area because you know I love a sign, firstly, and secondly because I want to make people aware of the dangers in this area. Once this area is up and running, then I can put my fire extinguishers and all the rest of my gear around here, find somewhere to put a first aid kit, an eye wash station, and then we can include this area of the yard in future inductions, which are going to be in the training room. Last week, I told you about a frame that we were going to make. Well, here it is in place. So when you're working here you're going to have all your controls for your conveyor belt, and this is all the controls for the bagging machine. So what happens is we run power, the power comes round the back. Here's another frame we made, but this one is sprayed black. The cables will come through. Our control unit and all our electrical gear will be here. This will be bolted to the floor, and then we dug a channel out of the ground here to make this cabling safe, so we're not running it and people could trip over it. Down here, along here, and into these units here. We're getting there. Remember a little while back, we had the Type 1 bay in the center of the yard here, which we dismantled when we were playing real life Tetris. Well, the signs that were on that, like this one, we now have to post them up in the yard. I'm trying to think when people come off the weighbridge, because you remember people are coming in for collections now, so we have to put it up so they can see what they're doing. So we're probably gonna have 2 signs up on the wall here, and we found the pedestrian signs from a previous walkway what we had. And on the wall right here, we're gonna have pedestrian signs telling people this is the area to cross. Then I'll make a couple more signs warning people in lorries and machines that people could be crossing in this area. So as much information as you can give people means that you can keep people as safe as possible. You have to do everything in your power you possibly can to keep people safe, and then you have to educate them, and then we're all in God's hands. We're going to start trying to put the bits on the sweeper today so she can be back up and running 100%. And the work on the previous 8-yard crane skip, which is now an 8-yard skip, we're just taking off the weight information on the side of it, because while we've cut the lifting eyes off, we want to make sure that it's clear for the boys in the yard. So we're just grinding that off, and then we're going to spray it black, because at first glance they can look at it and just see the yellow and think that nothing's changed with the skip. So we're trying to make everything as simple as possible so it can run as smoothly as possible when everyone's trying to do their job. Wednesday afternoon at 4:14 p.m. and thankfully the train is in. This is a full train of ballast, what we really need, because if you have a look in the bay over here, we are completely empty. Let's get it offloaded. Thursday morning, and I'm not in the yard. I am deep in South London, bandit country. The boys are all down here because we are going into a job which is just here. Now this is a really good job because there's a load of as-dug material to come out of there. So there's a load of ballast in the ground. So we're taking it out of here, we're taking it down to another site, and down there they're going to wash it, screen it and crush it, and they're going to make primary material. Now you might ask, how could that be primary material when we're taking it out of one construction site and we're taking it somewhere to process it? However, it's exactly the same as it works in a quarry, because in a quarry, we take sand and stone out of the ground. We're basically doing the same thing here, transporting it there, and then they're probably going to end up selling it back to us. But that's how it works. We like jobs like this because we are recycling as opposed to creating waste. So we've got all the boys down here nice and early. We've got 1, 2, 3 already on hand. And the thing I love about this site is while I'm watching everything going on, we got trains above. So hopefully we can get you some great shots of our lorries going in, getting loaded, and the train going past, which is probably going to mess up the entire day because we are on a tight schedule. Let's get the day started. We got to get a minimum of 20 loads out today, yeah?
20.
And 40 tomorrow.
It's nothing.
Yeah, that's exactly, but let us in, man. Remember, every time you see these lorries, yeah, you have to stop all the other lorries, yeah, and then you have to let these lorries come in.
No. No, you know, this door,
Yeah.
I'll let 5 lorries.
Yeah, and no, it's not how many lorries.
It's extendable.
It's the name on the side of the lorry. You got to let these lorries in. So we're ready. It's nearly lunchtime. We're still waiting. We're trying to get into the site, but it's a residential area. If you can have a look over here. Okay, let's take a walk across the camera. This job we're doing on behalf of, if you remember back at QPR on Saturday, my mate Ben Dickens from Sivia, he's doing it for GetJar. So this is a big site, GetJar, massive company doing loads of work. And once again, we walk in front of the camera. We're helping Ben to service this job because this is on our side of London and Ben is more based down in Southeast. So we're just trying to get in there to make sure that we can get this job started as early as possible. But it appears we turned up a little bit too early, but we want the lorries to beat the traffic. So we come down here, we park, we make sure we're out of the way of everyone so the residents are still happy. They can get to and from work. And it should be just another few minutes before we can get in. And it begins. It's 3:53. I'm back in the yard after my site visit. The train is in and the train is offloading, and it's not what I thought. I believe we have 3 wagons of shingle, gravel, whatever your currency is, whatever you want to call it, and 11 wagons of sand. Now we're offloading all of those over there, and the locomotive had to come quite far into the yard. So we're trying to work our way around a little bit. good day, and plenty of material was collected, and we've already put a massive dent in the ballast because when we're loading the volumetrics in here directly out of our own ballast bay, we see how quickly it goes down. But a decent day altogether. I am now going to take a walk up to the office and have a look at my lovely new aircon. Yes! Obviously in here we've gone for a white unit. In my office we went for a black one. If you want to see how we refurbish my office, click here to watch that video. Now it's quite warm in here, and it'll be less loud if I close the door. See if there's a difference. That was actually a massive difference. So it's nice and warm in here now, and in the summer it will be nice and cool. So it will no longer be a sweat box, as some of you said. Very good. Happy with the day so far, but this is what I call getting my second wind. So I'm going to sit down for a little while. I'm going to try and catch up with my emails. And once the yard starts to empty, you can see as the car park, the level of cars goes down and down and down and down and down. And then once everyone leaves, probably Terry's the last person to leave before me, then I start my second wind and I'll be by myself in the yard and I'll be able to zoom through everything. So everyone who deals with me, you notice that you get emails from me between like 6:30 and kind of 8:30. And then you may get another one just before I go to bed, like between 10:30 and 11:30. I'm trying to do the job of 100 people all at the same time. So it does take up a lot of my time. But thus far today, we are having a good day. Friday and I'm in the yard. The train has arrived. We have a train of Type 1 offloaded directly into the bay, as I like it. We've collected our stencils as well. These are the stencils that we're going to use on the skips and the 40-yard bins. So now that they're all black, the lads are probably going to be doing that tomorrow. It's a good thing the train came in because the bay was looking rather empty because we've been flat out loading lorries and we only probably had about 200 or 300 ton left in it. And we have another train on Monday as well. So let's have a look at that train offload. In other news, I'm in back-to-back Zoom calls. I have to do a watch through of weekly episode 60. Will you help me? 68. You see? 67. So you're meant to be helping me. I have to do a watch through of episode 67. So I'm going to start doing that now. It's actually quite late already. It's 2:30 p.m. So I need to sit down and watch that, make any changes that we need to do, and then have a couple more meetings. So I probably won't be leaving the yard till about 8 or 9 o'clock. I've just instructed the guys, whatever checker plate we've got left, you saw the checker plate we put round in the training room. However, I've had a thought. Any of the doors around the yard, what people go in and out of, they tend to use their feet and kick the bottom of it. So any side where you push the door that way, I'm going to put a strip of checker plate along the bottom, just for a bit of good housekeeping and keeping everything looking good. And I love seeing a lorry behind me like that. I love it. Catch up in a bit. It's update time from Southern Vulcanizing. Let's push on with this conveyor belt. Saturday and I'm in the yard. We have a health and safety meeting with our external. What is it? Is it contract? What is it? Consultant.
I go for consultant.
Your consultant, yes, with our external health and safety consultant, Kerry Williams. He's popped down and we're showing him all the changes that we've made in the yard. And Kerry, where are we? Are we here? We here? We here? Where are we?
So at the moment, we've gone from sort of there to about there.
Okay.
Now we've got the hard work to start pulling it up to there.
Okay, well at least we're here. Kerry's pointing something out to me. I put my lovely sign on the wall here. It says hands and loose items of clothing can be caught and pulled into the machinery. So I've identified the risk. However, just telling people isn't enough. What am I doing to prevent it? Now I thought by me moving the controls over to this area and identifying the problem, I had done everything I can do. Incorrect. What I need to do is I need to put something in place to block the conveyor belts. So I'm going to use some of the fencing what we had from some jobs, and I'm going to put this in the way because therefore I am shielding people from the risk. So we have all the lighting, we have hard standing, we have all our isolators and power at this end. And then if we put a fence in here as well, Kerry, would you say that we've completely done everything we can to avoid anyone getting hurt?
It's got to be, it's hierarchical. So what you've done is you've made it safer because you've prevented people from coming to harm. You're not relying on their behavior. You're not relying on good practice. You're physically isolating the equipment from those people.
Okay.
And that is preferable in the scheme of things.
Okay, fine. And as well, Kerry's pointed something out that there could be a point where somebody actually has to get inside one of these. Now I thought just having the isolators here, we're going to have another 2 isolators for the conveyor belts as well. There are isolators with locks on them. So the person who's going in there can physically lock the isolators in place. So there's no chance that they could be turned on when they're working there. So that is something else then we're going to put in place. So then I believe at that point, with this area covered, we've done everything we can possibly do, as long as people have a site induction and people who use the machinery have been trained in our new training room.
I think what we've done is we've reasonably reduced the risk.
We've reasonably reduced the risk.
You're never going to get me to tell you you've done everything you can do. We can always do that little bit more.
Okay.
Is it suitable and sufficient? Yeah, it is.
How do you feel generally about the yard from the last time you come with the segregated bays and the 10 meters of area to work here and the vehicle plan?
The yard makes me smile. I think it's a massive improvement on where we are. You know, a lot of effort's gone into not only expanding it, but segregation for people and vehicles.
Yep.
And this hardened segregation makes me super happy. We've got sensible flow for vehicles as well and minimizing reversing. Most importantly, as I said, we're stopping people and vehicles mixing. And that's the absolute priority for the work that we do.
That sounds a bit more like a thumbs up than a thumbs in the middle to me, but but there's always more that we can do. So for a Saturday morning, it's a good meeting, and we thank Kerry for all his help. He works with us to try and keep people educated and safe. So we're really happy about that. And now we're going to get on with the final parts with the pedestrian walkway. There's a bunch of tyres what I need to move out the way, create the pedestrian walkway to cross from the main yard over into the railway yard, and then finish the safe walkway, the segregation on the other side of the yard when you leave the weighbridge to get round to bay number 1. That's what we'll be working on. And Kerry, how do you feel about the training room?
I love it. It's beautiful. It's the thing that makes me happy.
The new security booth?
I love it. We'll have that. If that person's controlling people coming in and out, I've got a double whammy. So yeah, you've got like 3 out of 4 smiles today.
3 out of 4 smiles. So with a health and safety consultant, we are doing well. Let's crack on with the day. We've done so many improvements in here, I actually forgot to tell Kerry a couple of things, and we ain't gonna let him escape from here unless he knows. When I saw Flo here, what Flo's doing, he's actually pushing the Type 1 up into the bay because we have another train on Monday. Yes, we have another train of Type 1 on Monday, and we need to make as much space as we can at the front, but we've already booked out 1,000 tons. So as it hits the deck, it's gonna be going onto lorries. But now, Kerry, everyone in the yard, all the machine drivers, the guys in the yard, Simon, Terry, Cam, other than me, everyone has a walkie-talkie the entire time. So there's no more shouting out the window at the machine driver how much you want. And now we have signs which people put in the dashboard. So we have laminated signs. If you want Type 1, the weighbridge gives it to you. You put it in the window, they radio to the driver. This man needs 19.5 tons of Type 1. He loads him, goes back on the weighbridge. Drivers, do not get out of the lorry in this yard. Everything, no more shouting, everything's labeled, all walkie-talkies.
So that one, okay, you get 4 out of 5 now, right? Because we're communicating better. We're not relying on mixed hand signals.
Yeah, there's none of this anymore.
we're confirming communication, and more importantly, we're taking a step towards visual safety and visual management with the signage.
Visual
so that makes me
safety
happy.
and visual management. Hear that?
The visual stuff, I'm serious about that. That's actually a bit more advanced than where you're at, but it's where we're going. What you're doing is right. The signage is right.
After sort of like the operational stuff, what's the next stage? How do we get excellence here, Kerry?
The whole point of that is you've got to interweave your safe working practice into your operational process. Ultimately, there's no reason why working safely and working efficiently shouldn't complement each other.
Okay.
That's what's called operational excellence. It's used heavily in manufacturing, it's used lots of different streams. The point of that being is you assess every part of your activity, you break down the process flow of it, you put in place standards. This is what we do and how we do it. And then you look at how you can make each thing slightly smoother, make it run better, make it run more safely. The whole point of that is that we're taking all of your team on the journey with you, because those guys do it every day. They've got brilliant ideas.
You're trying to say I don't put in a shift every day?
Yeah, well, it's been mentioned that you're a busy man. We want to get them on board, and the best way to get them on board is to get them to help us.
Sorry,
improve
Kate.
the
Flo,
process.
do me a favour, come over here. Come over here.
I just dropped you in it.
Look at this model employee, look at this. Show him the hat. Orange boots. Is it? Hello, Simon, can you hear me? Over. He just walked out the way, but all right, cool. Terry, can you hear me? Over. See, this is what I get for trying to be smart.
So it was almost beautiful.
Simon just left the Weybridge,
So-
that's why he's not.
What Daniel said is he's issued one walkie-talkie, which is sort of a bit difficult for communication. But notice how well he's coordinated the walkie-talkie to the PPE.
Anyway, we're getting there. That's the important thing, isn't it? We're getting there.
We are getting there. We're on a journey, and you've taken some really positive steps, and we've reduced risk a lot. Makes me happy.
All right. Let's crack on with the day. This time we're going to crack on with the day. I'm not going to stop you again, and I'm not going to stop Kerry again. Because Kerry is going to give us a raving report. He's going to talk about all the changes that Ashville made and all the great things they're doing here. I'll go back to my office, do some work. Hold it. There we go. So, yeah, this on both sides. We'll put it at the front as well, and we'll put an A on the side of that one as well. Hold on, let's have a look at the front here. There's a nice space. Yeah, we'll put that there, and we'll put an A on each side as well, yeah? What's wrong?
I think so. A little bit heavy.
Use a clamp.
Yeah.
Clamp.
Yeah.
Use a clamp. Put a clamp here and a clamp there.
Good
Use
enough.
some clamps, yeah. Use a clamp and do it, yeah? Yeah? We'll put those on on the sides of all of them, yeah? No, so go here then. So clamp it at the top, yeah?
Not impossible.
You can't? No. You might need two people to hold it, yeah? Get them to hold it and then spray it. That in the middle, A here, A there, yeah? Make sense?
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to give these bins an identity, because at the moment they're just black bins. They're not Ashville bins, but now they're going to be black Ashville bins. Well, I don't know what's going on, but something is going on in the other yard. Go on, get that drone up, get that drone up. There's something going on in the other yard and I want to see what's going on. There's some general machines and general industry. I don't know what it does and I don't know how much it costs, but what I do know is that I want one because it's doing something on the train tracks. Let's go and have a look.
Saturday afternoon and it is 1:47. You heard me say a long time ago that with my entertainment business, I was using an accounting system. Well, now I've made the switch and I've moved the main businesses over to the accounting system as well. Now I have a little bit of a problem. When I was moving systems, I had to export all the information from the previous system and put it on the new system. And then when I began to print out lists of debtors and creditors, these lists were incorrect because in the last system, there were some places where we'd put invoices in and not marked them as paid, or we don't have up-to-date statements from people, and it's caused a massive issue because it looks like we owe people more money than we do, and it also looks like we're owed more money than we are. I'm requesting the team to try to help resolve this as soon as possible, but in order to do that, we have to send an email to all of our suppliers and ask them with an up-to-date account statement, and we can compare their account statement with our bank transactions, and then we can attempt to get that right. Then we can move on to the people that owe us money, but it's a massive mix-up. Hopefully it's work that goes in place now, so moving forward we have a better system which is reliable and gives us an accurate snapshot of where the business is financially. All the bits I wanted to do in the yard are done today. We've already loaded all the lorries. The work list is done for Monday also. Simon's still on the weighbridge. Again, we have a train on Monday of type 1 he's preparing. We've made space in the bay for the type 1. I believe Southern Conveyors are still working on our conveyor belt. We should have the first conveyor belt in the yard on Monday, and then we'll measure up for the second one. And I can still see a couple of people are still coming in at this time and collecting sand and gravel. So thankfully, the volume work is picking up for us. So there's not something we've done in the past, bringing in sand, gravel and type 1 and letting others come and collect it. So hopefully that was fruitful for us. And that's it for Ashville Weekly, episode 67. Click here for the Ashville website. Click here to subscribe to our channel. I did it the wrong way around. Is it 68?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's it for Ashville Weekly, episode 68. Click here for the Ashville website. Click here to subscribe to our channel. Click here to see an Ashville video that you may not have seen before, and click here for last week's episode, which was number 67. You're probably gonna just put in where I got it wrong, aren't you, before that, and put it in. I don't mind, you can put it in. I make mistakes, I'm very tired.
Remember the link to download pouches in the description.